I heard I have a horde of people going out as Tanis Leto, as me, this Halloween 2025. And so I'm filming this in the afternoon/evening. It's 5:37 p.m. Thursday, 30 October 2025 in the greater Seattle area. So I think the furthest people ahead of me is Halloween, but they're like 4 hours behind. So I'm getting it done early enough for those costume parties for people who, you know, want to go out wearing this name tag that I've had in a number of videos before this one. So this is, I was like, you know, okay, for those of you going out as Tanis Leto this Halloween, can I make a video for you guys? And if you're not, you know, I was like, right, so for you guys, but also for everybody. So I was like, what's something I could make that's inclusive over the whole family, so to speak. And I was like, well, how about something in the theme of Thanksgiving, in addition to Halloween? All right, so here's the name tag. If you already made it or you're making one or whatever, here it is again. I've done it out, you know, by my car. I've done it in a movie theater on, you know, taking a bite of pizza, just, you know, showing the pizza, yeah, that kind of stuff. For real, well, that stuff. Okay, so in this video, ruminating about a nickname of Tan Frito for myself as Tanis Leto. Yes, so I was like, did I? So the how that nickname came about was just kind of me talking out loud and thinking about like what rhymed, and it just kind of like came out in a YouTube video. So I was like, all right, but like, what are the true origins? So here I, Tanis She/Hers of Seattle, ruminate about the nickname of Tan Frito for myself with a name of Tanis Leto, including if I would be comfortable being called by either name at the dining table. So let's go with the origins. Sunday, 12 October 2025, my Aunt Annette and I went and saw Tron Ares together at Regal Cinnabar Mountain Lake, just us two. It was opening weekend of the movie. And we were talking, and his name, my Jared Leto's, his name is Jared Leto, and she called him Jared Leto. And so, and I was like, okay. And so, like, sometimes she say Leto, but she kind of leaned towards Leto. And so I was like, okay, Leto and Leto. And then so in one of my videos, I was like, you know, Leto, Leto, you know, like, so then I'm like, you know, like Lay's potato chips. And I'm like, oh, you know, in my head. And then I like, you know, say, Frito, like Tan Frito, you know, like Leto, like Frito. And so I was like, Tan Frito, because Fritos are kind of a tan color. And so I was like, you could like call me Tan Frito, and there could literally be a bowl of Fritos on the table, like Tan Fritos, and be like, I'm gonna eat a Tan Frito, Tan Frito, you know. And I was like, oh, this just kind of fits. I haven't ever had like a goofy like nickname that's ever like just fit and like people have like used, and you know, I was like, Tan Frito kind of works, and Fritos are eaten in this family, okay, and have been throughout my existence. And so I was like, so that's kind of where the name came from. And I was like, also, this I have actually talked about in person with my Aunt Annette. The first person I told I wanted to be Tanis Leto to, the first person I told I wanted to be Tanis Leto was my Aunt Annette on our way back to where I lived after we saw 2025 film Tron Ares together at Regal Cinnabar Mountain Lake on Sunday, 12 October 2025, opening weekend of the movie. She even agreed that he is a good-looking man. And I told her, you know, kind of what I've told you. I told her what I've told you guys. If I am, if I have to be Juliet and Romeo and Juliet, he's my Romeo. I said that to her on the right, on our way back to this house where I lived then. So my Aunt Annette's in the loop. So it was but I was like, at the dining room table, Tan Frito actually works, and that's kind of, but it's also like Tan Frito. So I'm like, okay, it kind of like, you know, if being, you know, being chastised, I'm like, I'm listening, you know, so it still holds its weight. And then as for Tanis Leto, I think part of that is, you know, since you know, my Aunt Annette pronounces it Leto and Leto and leans towards Leto, I'm like, all right, it'd be Tanis Leto, at least some of the time. You know, if depending on, and like, and then, you know, if some people pronounce the letter E as like an A sound, then it's Leto. So I'm like, also like Plato, so it's like, all right, just be tolerant of different pronunciations. However, for all I know, people might actually get it a whole lot better than my last name, Leonhardi, currently, which is German, Roman, not Italian. People really struggle with that. I was like, people, people throughout my life misspelling Leonhardi, they might actually get Leto right. Watch out for that double T, or a double E, or an H on the end. There's a T become Tanis Cheeto. So I was like, watch out for the like snack wars. So essentially for this one, yeah. So that's ruminating about a nickname of Tan Frito for myself is Tanis Leto.